This is revenue marketing raw. No fluff, no vendor pitches. Just the truths your CMO won't say out loud. Featuring Jeff Pedowitz and Dr. Debbie Gagish. Let's go!
I'm doing well.
Your whirlwind tour, 3 graduations in the last week.
3 graduations.
That is crazy.
As I've told a few people, our hearts are full and our wallets are now empty.
Very empty. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. One daughter from medical school. Your son got his master's, and
our youngest got 2 degrees in undergrad.
There you go. You can't ask for a better week than that.
No, 1 week, 3 states, including grandparents, a lot of Ubers, and yeah, it was
That's
all good.
Wonderful.
And here we are. And so they're getting started in their career, and I'm happy for all of them. And of course, we have 2 daughters. And I was thinking about our topic for this week, about the role of women in tech. And
yeah, it kind of sucks right now.
It really does. You know,
it's terrible.
You would think that.
Jeff, I never would have thought in 2026 we would still have this underrepresentation of women in technology.
Well, not only that, Deb, we're going full steam backwards. It's like
full steam backwards.
Like we're rolling back the clock before the ERA, before all that, and it's really sad. I mean, you and I were pulling stats to get ready for this, and I think we were both surprised. You know, not only we already knew that women were underrepresented in the boardroom. I don't think we were shocked by that, but we were surprised just to see year over year how it's been declining.
Right. And it's better here than it is in Europe, but still, it's pretty bad. And I was also doing some research. I'm getting ready for a Women in Technology Trailblazers podcast, where we specifically will be talking about stigmas that women have to overcome in the workplace, and that'll be part of our conversation today. But I never thought, again, that we'd be sitting here in 2026 and we would be so underrepresented. And it's interesting how AI is affecting that equation. Some of the stats that we were pulling up were not surprising. More men than women use AI at work.
80% to 59% is
right.
I think it was a Computing Magazine is what we read on that. Yeah.
Yet, if a woman uses AI to do her coding work, she's hit 3 times harder than her male counterpart who uses the same AI to help with their coding development.
Even more specific, I think Fortune was citing that women's jobs are 3 times more likely to be replaced by AI than
exactly. We've talked a lot about how this first wave of AI is all about getting rid of the execution layer, because AI now is just so good at doing that. And we have more women in execution level jobs than we do in strategic jobs. So are their jobs going away as well? And what does that do to the combination in the workforce?
And then I think the one stat that really blew me away was Smarter Articles. It said at the current rate of women's progress, which I think it's not even progress, it's regression, it's going to take 48 years for women in senior corporate positions to reflect the population share that they actually have. That's mind-blowing, Deb. That's like you and I aren't even going to be here in 48 years.
It is mind-blowing. And so let's just set aside those women who don't want to work in technology. Let's just set that aside, and let's take a look at all the women who would love to have a career. They're young, or they've been in technology for a while, and let's talk about how AI will be affecting their careers.
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, as we've seen in just about every other function, AI is an accelerant and it's a mirror. So it's holding up and reflecting bad habits. It's also making bad things go faster, making good things go faster. So if women were already reluctant, or there were stigmatisms about going into tech careers, AI is accelerating that, because some of the same things that are happening to men happen worse to women because they're already underrepresented. So you get this kind of compounding effect, right? It's
Right.
almost like the same thing that happens with our class system. You know, if you're already poor, you have to work so much harder to break out of that
Right.
class system versus someone
Right.
that's already economically advantaged. I think the same thing's happening to women.
So I will tell you, I was a little surprised at the AI numbers of how more men than women are using AI. Maybe I shouldn't have been, but you know, we work with so many female executives, Jeff.
We do.
We work with so many female marketers. And it just seems to me that they have embraced AI with open arms. So I haven't seen that across the population of people that we work with. So maybe that's more on the dev side.
Yeah, I agree with you. I haven't seen that either personally. I have found the women and our clients are working with to be just as savvy and engaged as the men. So I thought some of the stats were surprising. But on a correlation, though, we certainly have male friends that are losing their jobs, but we have seen a disproportionate amount of women executives losing their marketing leadership roles over the last couple of years, I would say. I mean, that we've seen.
Really, let me reflect on that, and I think you're right. And again, we're just sharing with you guys what we see. And again, we work with B2B marketing organizations around the globe, and you're right. I do think we are seeing more women lose their roles than we are seeing men lose their roles. And why do you think that is, Jeff?
I think there's a lot of reasons for it, Deb. I mean, and again, I'm not would you need to be a sociologist, or I gotta know what the right term is? I mean, ultimately, I'm just a marketer and a technologist, but I think good, bad, or indifferent, women in marketing have the same challenges as women in just about any other career. They have to work 3 times as hard to overcome stigmas. They're expected to fit into a box that's very unfair. And I think then that box extends to this technology challenge, right? And anything I say is nothing that's not been debated a million times or written about, right? You know, if a woman is too assertive, she's aggressive and comes off as a bitch. If she's docile, you know, then she's...
If I had $1 every time somebody had called me a bitch, either to my face or behind my back, I'd be a very rich woman right now. And I will say this, I didn't give 2 shits. You could call me a bitch all you wanted to. And I don't know where I had that fortitude come from. I just knew what I was doing was right, and I was going to continue down that path. And I also recognized, that very, very early on in my career, and it's just something that I decided to roll with. Now, the fact that our daughters still have to put up with that crap today, still because you're a woman, whether it's a conscious or unconscious bias or, whatever that is just kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think, unfortunately, there are, and I just hate making overly broad generalizations, Deb, because
I know.
people are people, So,
but we do know there is a fair amount of toxic masculinity in the tech world.
Yes.
And that's been written about, quite a bit. And what I would say to any woman who wants to have a career in technology at any level, you will have biases that you will have to overcome. And so the best way to handle that is to be prepared for those biases. I think sometimes that bias is not very much a conscious bias, and you can handle that with communication. I think other times there is a more conscious bias, and that's a
I agree. And I don't want to apply tropes, that I can act like a man with a touch of a woman, shit like that. A woman should just be able to be who she is, or who they are, or what skill should be, and talent should supersede. And yes, in a business setting,
but it doesn't, and it won't.
No, you're right. It should be enough. Merit should be enough, but it isn't. So I think where you and I have both advised our women marketing friends over the years is to, for one, build a skill base, build the muscles in the areas that they were not as strong, whether that was in financial savvy or in having tech awareness or how to deal with the board, whatever it was. But look, you have to always find a balance to be agile, assertive. You have to be able to act boldly, whether you are a male or a woman. And I think then each woman has to apply her best self, to be able to do it. And unfortunately, many times they have to work twice as hard or three times as hard or take much more things just to get the same outcome.
Yeah, and Jeff, that stigma starts in elementary school as well.
It does.
So when we want to have these young girls going into early STEM programs, and there's already this kind of like, just this bias that occurs. And it occurs with teachers and friends and parents and everybody when they could be having really, really wonderful careers. I will say this, and I was thinking about this as we were getting ready. One of the best things that we ever did at Pedowitz Group is we have this soft skills communications course that we teach. And we wanted to teach something called assertive communications. And so if you actually go into the world of positive psychology, and there's this thing called nonviolent communication, and it's all about saying the thing and calling it what it is and getting it on the table. That is exactly what we taught, because we had the skill model, Jeff. I don't know if you remember, let's say that my husband's not taking the trash out and it's really bothering me and it's building up and I've got all this, I'm mad. And so I sit him down and I say, look, when you don't take the trash out at night the way you told me to, it makes me feel overwhelmed, like you don't value me. So I would like for you to take the trash out as we discussed. That is an example of assertive communication. And sometimes if you just look at how women versus men communicate, you will see a big difference in the communication style. So sometimes for women, it's just a small communication thing. Like, for example, if you're in the world of technology and maybe the project was not deemed as successful as it should be, you might say, we talked about the parameters of the project. I did exactly, I built the code. Before we go in to take a look at what we do next, let's go in and take a look at the numbers first, right? So that you're very, very clear about things. So I think, and I know we're kind of going all over the place today because we want to be very sensitive to this topic today. But still, first of all, there is a bias. It's in the numbers. We know that it starts early. And I think that for any woman who wants a career in technology, just understanding, how you communicate, how you think about yourself, how you show up every day, and also your environment. Because quite frankly, we have often told people you need to leave that company because it is never going to change.
We have
sometimes it's the company environment, and you can't fight that ever.
But yes, since you and I are both, we're not DEI experts, and that's not what this podcast is about. But let's try and bring it back to where can we help the women that are listening to this. So I think number one, like we've told them to take ownership of their career and the board level conversation about marketing. I think you have to take ownership of the AI narrative before someone owns it for you. So just, if you're out there asking harder questions about accuracy, governance, ethics, that doesn't make you weak or a skeptic or hesitant. That's good judgment, right? So you reframe that as a professional asset. So I think you demonstrate that you understand both AI's potential as well as
right. But the thing I'll say is, and you're right about the reframing, you can be worried about those aspects, and maybe that's why you're slower to go, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't be playing and exploring AI and what's happening, because, we've said this a million times. The only way you can understand AI is to play with AI, just to go out and start doing
it's
things.
Fulcrum, right, Dad? Like, you're balancing between experimentation and innovation and governance. I mean, I think if you tilt too far to one side or the other, you get out of kilter, but you do need both. Well, I mean, we're seeing this already anyway, but, stop waiting for the company to officially roll out with its AI program or tech. You build your own stack.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're in marketing, hell, you probably already control more tech anyway than most any other department in the company. So,
and probably more AI than any other department. And I know that most of the Fortune 500 CMOs are men, but it just feels like to me, Jeff, that we have a lot of female CMOs in the companies that we work with. So maybe it's B2B at a different level.
Oh, it's fun. And many of them would like to be CEOs themselves, or they have other career aspirations. But I think, but don't just look at bringing in AI to bring in AI for tech. Like, zero in on a couple workflows, a couple use cases, and solve them, and then show the before and after. Show how much time you saved, show how much more effective it was, show how much better it did for the pipeline. This is how you start to build credibility, and then you've got to get better at marketing your successes. So you become your own advocate, right, for your AI prowess within the company.
But, and as you're saying that, I'm sitting here kind of like, I almost feel like we're going down that path of, well, you're a woman, so go prove it, right? Whereas a guy may not have to prove as much, right? And whether that's true or it's in their minds, it could be either. So I think that anybody working in marketing, this would be the guidance for them. I don't think that particular guidance necessarily, I mean, it is true. You need to show how, you need to use AI, you need to show how AI can help improve the business, period, right? Man or woman, it doesn't matter.
Fair. Of course. I mean, everything that we're saying, everyone should do. I think, though.
I'm sorry. I just don't want to hear a laundry list of things that women should do.
No, you're right. I mean, I was just trying to, anything we're saying here is just good common practice.
Right.
Like, given the subject matter of, our topic today is women built a lot of this business around revenue marketing, and now AI is starting to rewrite the rules. So how do we help women rewrite the rules so they continue to have a competitive playing field? But yes.
And I think part of it's backed up in some of the earlier themes that we had is the recognition that it's getting rid of the execution layer right now. So you're going to save money, but the real money and the big impact of AI is also going to be in improving the revenue picture, right? So as a leader, taking a look at how AI can help you improve revenue and bring more growth to the company versus just keep saving money. And again, that would be something, I mean, we share that with everybody, not just women.
Yeah, and I think, look, men or women, you go back to that line from Hamilton, right? Be in the room where it happened. I mean, you got to get yourself into the game where decisions are being made and contribute to those decisions, not wait for the decision to be handed to you and be told what to do, right? So I think the more that you advocate for what you want and go get it, or at least contribute to it, that's going to help your career success, right? I mean, I think that's really important. Don't be bashful about taking credit, right?
I do agree with that one. I agree with that one a lot. I don't think women take enough credit. They don't crow enough about the wonderful things that they have done. They don't beat their chest, right? And I do think that women need to do more of that. I see that all the time in corporate America. Well, it was a team effort. Well, it was, but you led it. So let's be very, very clear about that.
I think more women need a Debbie.
Well, I do think women can benefit from having a great mentor, right? A mentor who has been through it and who can keep you out of your own head so you're not thinking crazy things, who can help you see things as the way they are, and they can help you develop the skills that you need so that you can be successful in this environment. So and we do see a lot of great female CMOs that we work with. They do have coaches and they do have mentors. And a lot of times they're men, and that can be valuable as well. Valuable.
Yes. But I was also suggesting something stronger than mentorship, right? Because I think women, and there are now good women's groups like Chief and others, I think really helping network more and pulling women forward into careers, right? I think help each other up. I mean, that is something traditionally that men have done well, built up
they do that very well. Yes. Yes.
I think women are starting to do it.
Women do. Yes.
They're starting to do it. But I think that more than anything on the list we have, like just being mindful, and you know how hard and what you had to go through to get to where you are. And so your peers and colleagues are going through that same journey. Just keep paying it forward. I think that will help a lot. But like we've talked about now over the last couple of months, AI is rewriting the rules for everyone, men or women, how we work, how we show up, what we do, who we are, how we engage with our customers. To me, as a woman, this represents as big of an opportunity as ever, to define, redefine, create, innovate, and be your best self, going forward. Because this next generation of revenue marketing leaders will be built on an AI foundation.
I'm hoping that there's something that is, so different about AI that we'll see more women embracing AI and using AI in all aspects of their work, no matter where they are working in technology, so that they can have fabulous careers with that. I was really surprised at the stat. Shouldn't have been, but I was truly surprised by that. But I do think it is that opportunity. And again, when I think about all of the female CMOs and female leaders that we work with, they are up to their eyeballs in AI. They are absolutely positively leading with AI. And you were right, Jeff. You said earlier they're doing more technology and more AI work than any other part of their organization right now. It really is a great leadership opportunity.
It absolutely is. So seize the moment, right?
That's right.
All right. Until next week.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for the conversation. I really appreciate it. And all of our female executives do as well.
Go get them.
Bye.